Story title: The Endless Voyage of Captain Eli. In a bustling seaside town named Harborview, there lived a man named Captain Eli. He was a tall, sturdy man with a heart as vast as the ocean and a love for adventure that knew no bounds. For years, Captain Eli had sailed the seas, exploring distant lands, battling fierce storms, and discovering hidden treasures. His ship, the Sea Serpent, was known far and wide as the fastest and strongest vessel on the seven seas. Captain Eli was loved by the townspeople of Harborview, for he often brought back stories of his adventures and gifts from distant lands. But as much as he loved the town, the sea called to him, and he could never stay on land for too long. One day, as Captain Eli was preparing the Sea Serpent for another journey, an old sailor approached him. The sailor was wrinkled and weathered, with eyes that gleamed with the knowledge of the sea. "Captain Eli," the old sailor said, "I have heard tales of a place far beyond the edge of any map. A place where the sea never ends, and where the stars shine brighter than anywhere else in the world." Captain Eli's interest was piqued. "What is this place you speak of, old man?" he asked. The old sailor smiled. "They call it the Endless Sea. It is said to be a place of great beauty and mystery, where time stands still and the waves whisper secrets that no living soul has ever heard." Captain Eli's heart raced with excitement. He had explored many lands and seas, but the idea of an endless ocean filled with untold wonders was too tempting to resist. "I must find this endless sea," he declared. "I will sail until I reach the edge of the world if I have to." The old sailor nodded, as if he had expected this response. "But beware, Captain. The endless sea is not for the faint of heart. Many have sought it, but none have returned to tell the tale." Captain Eli was undeterred. He had faced danger before, and he was confident in his skills as a sailor. He thanked the old man for his warning, then set about preparing his ship for the greatest voyage of his life. The next morning, as the sun rose over Harborview, Captain Eli set sail. The Sea Serpent cut through the waves like a knife, its sails billowing in the wind. The townspeople gathered at the docks to wave him off, cheering for their beloved captain as he embarked on his new adventure. For days, Captain Eli sailed across familiar seas, passing islands and coastlines he had visited many times before. But as he ventured further from land, the sea began to change. The waves grew larger, the sky darker, and the air colder. The stars overhead seemed to twinkle with a strange, otherworldly light. Captain Eli pressed on, driven by the desire to find the endless sea. The Sea Serpent sailed through treacherous waters, braving storms and navigating through thick fog. But no matter how far he went, there was always more ocean ahead, as if the sea itself was stretching out endlessly before him. Weeks turned into months, and still, Captain Eli sailed. The crew began to grow weary, but Captain Eli remained determined. He could feel that he was getting closer, that the endless sea was just beyond the horizon. One night, as the Sea Serpent sailed under a sky filled with millions of stars, Captain Eli heard something strange. It was a faint, melodic sound, like the distant singing of a choir. He rushed to the bow of the ship and peered into the darkness, but there was nothing to see, only the vast, open sea stretching out in all directions. But the sound grew louder, more beautiful, and Captain Eli knew that he was near. He ordered the crew to sail toward the sound, and as they did, the stars above seemed to grow brighter, almost as if they were guiding the way. Suddenly, the ship broke through a thick curtain of fog, and before them lay a sight that took Captain Eli's breath away. The sea was glowing with a soft, shimmering light, and the stars above were reflected perfectly in the water, creating the illusion of sailing through the sky itself. The waves were gentle, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers. Captain Eli had found it, the endless sea. The crew stood in awe, unable to speak as they gazed at the beauty around them. Captain Eli felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had never known before. This was the place he had been searching for, the place that had called to him across the oceans. As they sailed further into the endless sea, Captain Eli discovered that it was indeed a place of great mystery. Islands floated in the air, held aloft by the wind, and strange, magical creatures swam alongside the ship. The waves whispered secrets, telling stories of ancient civilizations and forgotten gods. Captain Eli and his crew spent what felt like an eternity exploring the wonders of the endless sea. They discovered treasures beyond imagination, met beings of incredible wisdom, and experienced a sense of freedom that could only be found in a place where time stood still. But eventually, Captain Eli knew it was time to return. He had found what he had been searching for, and now it was time to share his discovery with the world. With a heavy heart, he turned the sea serpent around and began the journey back to Harborview. But as they sailed away from the endless sea, something strange happened. The sea began to change once more. The stars grew dim, the waves rougher, and the magical creatures disappeared. The further they sailed, the more the memory of the endless sea seemed to fade, until it felt like a distant dream. When Captain Eli finally returned to Harborview, the townspeople greeted him with joy and relief. They had feared he would never return, but here he was, safe and sound. But when Captain Eli tried to tell them of the endless sea, the words seemed to slip away from him. He could no longer describe the beauty he had seen, the wonders he had discovered. It was as if the endless sea had become a part of the sea itself, a secret that could never truly be told. Captain Eli continued to sail the seas, but he never again found the endless sea. And though he tried to forget, he could never shake the feeling that it was still out there, waiting for the next brave soul to discover its secrets. And so, Captain Eli lived out his days as a legend in Harborview, a man who had sailed further than anyone else, who had seen things that no one else had seen.